Hi, this is Justin Popovich from bestqualityplr.com, and I'd like to welcome you to this presentation that I title How to Bank Real Money Fast Using PLR, Private Label Rights Products. Let's dive right in. And I want to ask you, do any of these phrases or thought patterns sound familiar to you, intimately familiar to you in terms of your own life? I haven't made any significant money online. Or how about this one? I lack focus, I lack execution, and the ability to actually follow through on ideas that I come up with. Or have you ever said to yourself, I just have so many ideas, too many ideas, in fact, that I never actually get any real work done? Or maybe you lack knowledge or you lack skills, and every time you do want to try something, you have a great idea, you lack the ability to execute and complete it because some kind of technical glitch pops up, it gets in the way, and never lets you get finished. Or how about this one? And probably the biggest one of all, with internet marketing and all the information overload, do you get stuck in the all analysis and no action phase? You looking at things and you just don't get started because you just have so much in front of you and you haven't decided which way you want to go. Well, all of these things are very common. I've experienced them myself, and I'm betting you've also experienced some of them at least. And let's talk about how we can flip those around and develop three very tangible results. And I want to talk about three specific things here. First, how to get real results in your business and get them quickly. Okay, no messing around here. No taking 3 or 6 months to get things going. Right now, how do we get this going? And then once you start getting real results, and I'm talking specifically in the money department, how do you build a sustainable income so that you can do these things in a repeatable process over and over again and start banking on it and take this business full time if you haven't yet done that? And then finally, to look at all those people in the face that have been questioning you or maybe even snickering or laughing at you behind your back going, what's this person trying to do online making money? To show them that this is a legitimate business, you're really made of something, and you're going to build something that they are going to actually want to come to you and get some answers down the road. And you're able to do that. You can do all this stuff online if you're willing and ready to put in the work. So let's talk about how you can use PLR content to start driving these results in your business right away. I want to give you 5 key ideas. These are things that are proven, and I've either done them myself or I've sat down as a PLR creator and talked to my clients and listened to how they're using this stuff to make real money in their business. And these things, like I said earlier, can be done quickly. You don't have to wait, a year to see the results. You can do this as quickly as you want and see the results, within a matter of days. And I want you to think about everything we share in this presentation as a baseline. PLR content in general should be used as a baseline to inject your own flavor, to inject your ideas. And as I give you these 5 ideas, I don't necessarily want you to follow them step by step, but use them as a baseline to maybe combine some of the topics into some new creative idea that lets you make money in your business in a unique way that matches your style and whatever it is you're doing online. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is how to use PLR, private label rights content, to create powerful presentations and to make money on it. Now, let me give you an example of presentation opportunities. There's so many different ways that you can establish yourself as an expert by being a presenter. And I'm sure you've heard of all of these things, but service clubs, like things like the Optimist Club or Rotary, there's every town, every city has all kinds of opportunities for you to get out and speak to people in a live audience and brand yourself as an expert. You could be a guest speaker. There's people who are experts in specific niches. For example, there's people who speak just to massage therapists. There's people who speak to professional organizers. And they're always looking for people with different skill sets to come in and inject new ideas, new possibilities to their people, to the people on their list. It's a great guest speaking opportunity. You can book yourself at conferences. There's conferences that have as few as 20, 30 people going. There's conferences that thousands of people attending. But again, all these conference organizers are looking for people to speak and present. There's webinar and teleseminar opportunities for presentation. These are my favorite form of presentations because you don't have to wait a long time. If you want to speak at a conference, there's likely going to be a pretty long waiting period and there's going to be a planning period. Whereas with webinars, if you know the right people, if you make the right contacts, you can be up and speaking today if you really wanted to. And that's when you can combine some of the guest speaking opportunities with the webinar or teleseminar technology. Another one is there's different fundraiser opportunities that are available out there. You can go to any small town, go to your local directory in your town and just look at the different charitable organizations. They're always running fundraisers and they're looking for people to speak at those events, and it's a great opportunity to brand yourself. Now let me give you some examples of my experience as to why I like presenting so much in my business. I had an example of I did a 45-minute talk at a college and I was able to charge $1,000. I didn't even put it here, but beyond that, I was actually in a position where I received two calls back from that college and a call back from a second college who had heard about my talk. So I actually got the opportunity to monetize that three different times, all from one 45-minute speaking engagement. I did a webinar once with a business partner where in 90 minutes we delivered a powerful presentation and it resulted in over $1,500 in sales for 90 minutes of work. Obviously, there was some prep time going into it, but how many people would give up 90 minutes of their time to generate $1,500 in sales? I think most people would go along with that. Um, $2,300 banked for three talks for a community organization. This was a particular organization where I was originally asked to come in and do a free talk, and that led to three different speaking engagements. And my total checks cashed was around $2,300, and this was all for speaking engagements that I was asked to come in and be a guest speaker for. And there was a really cool example where I actually created an event. I basically gave a talk for free, but I filled a room along with some business partners. And from the one talk, I got a $1,000 coaching client. Plus, there was two other people in the room that were organizers for their own events and for their own companies. And two of those people asked me to come in and be speakers, and that banked me over $1,300 in additional speaking gigs from doing one talk. So I'm sure I've convinced you by now, and you probably already know the power of being a presenter and why you need to get involved in doing this as soon as possible in your business. Now, let me talk about how PLR can save the day when it comes to presenting. But before I do that, let's talk about a standard sales funnel that you can use as a presenter. So in general, whether you're doing a live talk or a webinar, or however you want to set this up, you start off by being the showcase speaker and sharing some really, really good information with people in the audience. And then once you do that, you can set up a process that lets them take your information a step further. So it could be joining a newsletter, it could be selling them an information product, you might have additional steps along the line here, but you let them go from the live talk into something a little bit more in depth where they can really digest some of the information that you already know. And then from that information product, you can create webinar classes or even live classes if you want to do it that way, where you can work with people. And as they implement your information, they're going to have lots of questions. They're going to run into roadblocks and pitfalls, and you can be the one to save the day. And that generates massive interest and huge credibility. So when it comes time to actually working with them in a longer, holding period, that's when you can upsell them to group coaching or individual one-on-one coaching. And that's where you can get really the high ticket prices rolling in. The challenge, and I'm sure if you've ever presented, you've run into this yourself. I know I run into it all the time, is I've got to do a presentation. It's coming up in a day or two. I have no content. Where do I go? Where do I start? And that's where PLR can save the day. If you have access to really good PLR content, you can use it as a baseline and make the presentation material come together really smoothly without having to write everything from scratch. So let's walk through some examples here. So the first example, and I'm going to use it from my own life because I've done a lot of leadership and life skill and personal development type of training, is there are lots of opportunities for speakers that want to get involved in this particular field. So if you were to get a gig as a leadership speaker or a personal development speaker, for example, where do you get going? Well, if you had our PLR products from Best Quality PLR, we could start with, for example, Kiss Your Comfort Zone Goodbye, which is an ebook and an audiobook. And this book is based around five key topics around the whole idea of breaking out of your comfort zone and really teaching people to develop themselves personally. And what you could do is take each of the five topics from that book and break it into a 1 to 3 hour talk where you just give a point, you give an example, and you go back to your point, and you really just hammer home that information. But all five topics are proven. They're in a book that's been selling online, and so that we know the information is valuable and people want to learn it. You can use that as the basis for your first talk. And then once people see you speaking about this information, they're interested, they're captivated, they start seeing all the possibilities for their life and where they could take it. You move them down the funnel. But instead of having to create that next piece of the funnel yourself, you implement another PLR product. And in this case, we have a product called the 365, which is a 1-year personal goal achievement system. And it's literally 1 year's worth of goal setting exercises. And you could break this into a membership site. You could use the weekly updates. In fact, there's 52 in total. So you could be sending them one email every single week for 52 weeks with no work other than maybe putting your name on it and some of your own personal spin on it. But all the baseline work is done for you. And in every one of those emails, you could remind them that, hey, I've got this coaching program. If you're struggling, you might want to join in on it. I've got a group session. People get to chat and interact, and all these things lead to bigger and better opportunities for you and your business. And again, if you're in best quality PLR, we actually have a training product behind the scenes that shows you how to basically build an entire recurring revenue business in an afternoon using a product like the 365. So if you have access to this good PLR, you can make this stuff happen really quickly. Let's say you wanted to do a talk about blogging. That's a really hot topic, and you could probably go and pick, 100 different niches, even in the offline world, and go and tailor a presentation specifically to, why blogging is important for chiropractors or whatever. And here's 5 PLR blogging products, full products with ebooks and autoresponder series and all kinds of stuff that you can use to build a presentation and deliver it live. Same thing with social media. It's a huge topic these days. Imagine taking this Twitter product and some of the social networking articles that we provide in the Facebook product and coming together with this, 3-hour power pack presentation about social media. And at the end, you say, hey, by the way, I've got this consulting business where we get you up and running on social media in no time flat. Same thing with health and fitness. If you're a nutritionist or a health practitioner or whatever, or a personal trainer, here's 4 products you can use to build a really, really powerful presentation. You can take some of the written material and provide it as handouts or send it to them over email. And with all this PLR content, you've got everything you need to build hugely, immensely powerful presentations that can lead to massive sales in your presentation sales funnel. So that's idea number 1. Let's move on to idea number 2.